What's going on, guys? It's Cal here from Buffalo Sports Center. Today, we are going to be doing our picks for the NFL Conference Championship round. Now, there's only two games to pick. I won't drag this video out too long, but I don't want to make it a 30-second video, too. So I'll go a little bit in depth, but we'll find that happy medium. First things first, the Washington Commanders. What a win over the Detroit Lions in Detroit. I mean, 45-31, they blew them out. It was one of those games where you could just tell the Lions defense had no answer for the Commanders offense. And how about Jaden Daniels, a rookie quarterback going into Detroit, facing the one seed, just completely I mean, calm and composed as can be. Again, if you look back, the Commanders in the wild card round just beat out the Buccaneers. So this is a team that could go either way, right? They could have an offensive explosion or they could kind of hinder a little bit. We'll see what happens this week. The Eagles, on the other hand, almost blew it against the Rams. I mean, if the Rams had, a couple more passes down the field, they would have taken the lead in the final seconds against the Eagles. But the Eagles do get the win against the Rams. If we go back a little bit, again, the Eagles played the Packers in the wild card round and pretty much blew them out. So the Eagles look good. There's no doubt their offense is fully stacked. I mean, A.J. Brown, you got Saquon Barkley on that offense, Devonta Smith when healthy, Jalen Hurts. It's just a really good offense, but that's kind of a thing that has been a talking point, at least, is Jalen Hurts in the playoffs. Kind of the NFC version of Lamar Jackson, maybe. Can he perform? Now, again, the Eagles have made a Super Bowl, unlike the Ravens, but again, it's one of those things where the Eagles just haven't gotten it done with this current unit, of course, with the Nick Foles super team, where that defense was just incredible and all that. They did win the Super Bowl, but since then it's been tough sledding. But I think tough sledding that they'll take because they're still making Super Bowls, they're still making deep playoff runs. So some teams are definitely still jealous of the Eagles, even though they're not reaching that final goal. This game is going to be a tough one, right? Again, you have kind of an unknown. It's in Philly. The weather could be really bad. The weather could be decent. We don't know for sure, but it's going to be cold. You know that. And this is just one of those games where I think it really depends what Washington Commanders team we get. We know what we're getting with the Eagles. That defense is really, really good, and that offense has playmakers. It's just, can Jalen Hurts get them the ball, and can that offensive line hold up? Again, the Eagles have been solid all year long. The Commanders have had some up and downs. Remember the last time these two teams played? The Commanders won it in the final seconds on that red zone last-minute drive. Again, I'm not going to really take that game into account because I know there's a lot of injuries in that game, and it's a regular season game. This is completely different. It's playoffs, but man, I really don't know where to pick this one. I'm going to make the boring choice, and I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles here. I think they're just a more complete team. Again, they don't have a rookie quarterback. Eventually, Jaden Daniels has to make a mistake or two, right? I mean, we didn't see any mistakes from him last week, so I think the Commanders are due for a little bit of a down game, and I think the Eagles hang on. I think it's going to be a fun matchup, though, but I don't really know if it's going to be all that close towards the fourth quarter. Another thing to keep in mind is the NFL likes to keep these games close, so we'll see what the refs do in this one. We'll see what each team does to try to outsmart each other, but I'm going to pick the Eagles in that one. Now let's move on to the game I'm most concerned about. We have the Buffalo Bills taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. That one's going to be a 6:30 start time. Man, where do we begin with this? I mean, this is a rematch. This is a rivalry. This is everything you want it to be and more. The Bills coming off a thrilling win over the Baltimore Ravens. Again, their defense completely carried in that one. 3 turnovers. You got to give it to them. As bad as the defense has been all season long, they stepped up big time when it mattered. The offense kind of puttered out a little bit. The receiving game was not there at all, but the rush game got going a little bit, and Allen continued to prove what he can do on his feet. Then we look, towards the wild card game. The Bills blew out the Denver Broncos. They didn't allow points after that first drive from the Broncos. So, again, that defense 2 weeks in a row has looked very solid. We look at the Bills' offense in that first game. Again, they just looked really good. So, I think the Ravens having a really good rush defense kind of stopped the Bills' plan. The Bills like to do that, run, and then it opens up the pass, right, as opposed to passing to open up the run. So, when they couldn't really get that run to open up the pass, they kind of panicked a little bit in that second half, but they got the job done. Now let's look at the Chiefs. Again, Chiefs got the bye. The only team left that got the bye is, of course, the Lions lost. The Chiefs only playing one playoff game, and that was against the Texans. And yeah, it was close until it wasn't close, right? The Chiefs Again, I don't want to bring up the refs, but I think everyone saw what was going on in that game, so we'll skip past that one. But it brought us this game, right? And it's Bills versus Chiefs, and again, this game could go either way. Andy Reid always seems to get the best of Sean McDermott in the playoffs. It looks like he brings out, a couple extra plays, a couple extra looks that maybe the Bills weren't really prepared for, and that always kind of kills them. Whereas opposed to in the regular season, you see a lot of more simple schemes, a lot more simple plays. And then the Bills, can use a little bit more talent, I'd say, on offense, a little more talent on defense in prior years, and they pull away with it in the regular season. But in the playoffs, Mahomes does Mahomes things. Andy Reid schemes up the craziest plays. Look for Xavier Worthy to have a big day again. I know they want to get him involved against the team that traded his pick away to the Chiefs, and then vice versa for the Bills. I look for Keon Coleman to get some targets as well. But again, this is going to be a fun one. Again, it might be a biased pick. I don't think it is. I think the Bills are the better team. I'm taking the Bills to win this game, even though it's in Kansas City. I just think the Bills are the better team. I think the Bills have the better offense, and if you could contain Travis Kelce, I think you win the game. So that's my picks. I got the Eagles winning the first game, going to the Super Bowl, the Bills winning the second game, setting up an Eagles and Bills Super Bowl. Again, I'm not going to make picks on that game because we'll save that for next week, and we'll save that for depending on who wins this. I mean, it very well could be Commanders and Chiefs in the playoff or in the Super Bowl. We don't know for sure, but those are my picks. If I had to go against the spread, I think that's 5.5 for the Eagles. I don't know if I'd say that, but I'll say the Eagles cover that. I think, like I said, I think they pull away at the very end, maybe win by 10 or 7. And then the Chiefs are currently favored by 1.5 at the time of this recording. So, of course, I'm going to take the Bills to cover that one and win outright. So those are my picks. Let me know in the comment section below if you agree, disagree. Again, if you say either the Commanders or the Chiefs, I'm not going to argue with you. I see your points, right? And anything could happen in the playoffs. But that's just who I think the better teams are, and I think the better teams are going to win this week. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Leave a like on this video, subscribe, and have a good one. Peace out.